In this video, I'm going to be talking about what kind of business should I build. I've built a lot of different kinds of businesses. I've coached a lot of people, helping them to build businesses. And if you want to build a business where you can make some passive income, some side income, possibly quit your job, you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of this video because I'm going to lay it out for you. I'm going to give you my best advice here. I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique that you want, how to get the girls that you want, and how to go from the victim mindset to what I call the Bulldog mindset. If that sounds like something you are all about, click that subscribe button. And also, don't forget, we have the Bulldog quiz here. If you haven't taken that quiz yet, if you want to figure out what your score is, click up in the corner. What kind of business should you build? You know, you see a lot of people telling you that you should build a drop shipping business, or you should do an Amazon fulfillment business, or maybe you should create a blog or a website, or maybe you should create a SaaS business, a software as a service business. In order to have a business, it doesn't matter what kind of business it is, you need essentially three main elements. The first thing is that you need prospects, and you need a way to get prospects. A prospect is someone who hears about your business, who might buy it. Okay, you need prospects. We can call this marketing or advertising, but that's a way of getting prospects. But what you need is the actual prospect. The second thing that you need for business is you need a way to convert those prospects into customers. If you have people that walk by and they see your donut shop, you still need to convert them to a sale, right? You need to offer them something and a price and a deal, right? So that they are getting some kind of value, so that they will actually buy. And then the third thing that you need is a product. Okay, you have to give them something. So those are the three key elements, no matter what business you choose, that you need to incorporate. So the most obvious one, all right, and probably the most passive one, is going to be a online business. An online business can scale indefinitely, so that's why it's sort of an optimal thing to do. The difficulty is not the product, because a lot of you, what you're thinking is what kind of product could I deliver? And that's actually the last part of the equation, and to some degree it's not even the most important part. That's how you're trying to decide what kind of business you should create, and that's not a good way to think about things, because you could have an awesome product, you could build this awesome product, but if you don't have prospects, you don't have a way to convert those prospects, it doesn't matter. No one's gonna fucking care. So the biggest consideration that I would say for you starting out the business, if you don't have a lot of money, most of you don't have a lot of money, if you did, you wouldn't be asking this question, is prospects. How can you get prospects? And if we're looking at online, there's only two ways to get prospects online. One of them is organically, and the second one is through paid advertising. Organically means that people find your content, right? Through Google, through searching YouTube, through Twitter, through social media. You know, if you're starting out, what's your best way of getting prospects? One of the ways that I teach it is to build an audience. Because I feel like if you build an audience, you're gonna have prospects and you're gonna get them organically. I would recommend that whatever business that you start, that you don't even think about how you're gonna sell it. You don't even think about the product, and instead you think about is, let me just create an audience. Let me just find an audience. So that involves specializing and niching down. So that means that the first thing that you need to do to figure out what kind of business you're going to create is not what kind of business you're going to create, it's who you're going to serve. So find something, okay, that you can teach people about. Most people do it through education, through teaching people something. This is prospecting. This is how I get prospect. Because you're watching this video, maybe you're watching, you know, somehow you stumbled upon me, okay? Maybe you did a search and you found me, okay? Maybe you've been a subscriber for a while, but somehow you found me, and it was probably from one of my videos, or maybe it was from one of my books, or maybe it was from my blog or website or something like that, or you heard me on a podcast. But primarily, I'm using YouTube, right, to generate prospect. You got to figure out what audience you're going to serve, okay? And then the way that you do this is by niching down, by picking something, ideally, that you can be number one best in the world at. You might say, well, John, what are you number one best in the world at with Bulldog Mindset? I want this to be the best resource online that you can find to teach you how to become a man. The three components that I consider to be a successful man. I want you to find this and say, okay, this is the best place where you can get no bullshit advice, okay? Not politically correct, about how to be a man today in society. Maybe you want to pick something smaller. I worked with one guy, and you know, on your iPhone, you know, the grid view control, I forget what it's called, the UI view controller or whatever, okay? He became an expert in that, and he wrote all about that, and that's what he made videos on, and that's what he spoke at conferences on, and he gained a whole audience around iOS developers that he could be the number one best in the world at teaching people how to use that control. Once you have that, and you build an audience, it's going to take some time, Now you can start asking some of the questions of what kind of business do you want to build. And you have a lot of options. I happen to have a Bulldog Mindset membership program. By the way, if you haven't joined it, you should join it for $30 a month, or I guess the price might be higher by the time you're watching this. It's a hell of a deal. That's one way that I am able to sell something. I would encourage you to choose one thing. A lot of guys I know, Brandon Carter, a friend of mine, he started a supplement company from his fitness channel, right? So he had an audience around fitness, and then he started selling like fat burners and BCAAs and stuff like that. I could create service, a software as a service. I could create some software. You can choose whatever you want in that case, but you need to have the audience first, because whatever audience, right, those are prospects that you can now sell something. Now, with that, of course, you need to have a way to sell it. I know this might not be exactly what you want to hear, right? Because you want to know what type of business, but any kind of type of business can exist when you have a way to get prospects and you have a specific audience, because you can solve a lot of their problems. Like, you guys have a lot of different problems that I could choose to solve. So you kind of got to decide what you want to do, but first you need to have the audience. Don't even worry right now about the type of business, the business model, okay? Instead, worry about getting prospects, all right? And maybe, there's other ways to do this, right? You could buy a website that has a lot of prospects, right? I know a lot of people that have started businesses by buying a website that had a lot of traffic coming to it, and then they developed a product or something to offer those people. If you want to build a business, and like I said, I've built several businesses, I've helped people build businesses, what you need to focus on right now is the audience. Figuring out the audience that you're going to serve. In my opinion, that's the best way. If you have a lot of money to spend on advertising, you can just build a product and then advertise the hell out of it. Fine, that can work. There's plenty of examples of that working. But I know that most of you are trying to get something on the side going, trying to make a little bit of extra money, okay? Just know it's going to take some time, and focus on doing that. I hope this answers your question, and let me know. If you have any more questions, I'm happy to answer them, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.